Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the fourth episode of Up the Slope. I'm joined by my compadre Euan for this very inspired episode, I think we'll call it, because it was inspired by none other than Kevin Wilson, who sent us a question this week. And actually, we thought in order to do that question justice, we would take it to Up the Slope rather than allow it to sort of breathe as part of the main episode. So first of all, Euan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm actually really looking forward to this for what we're going to go on about. But I've
Aye.
just enjoyed listening to your episodes with Greg and Ryan and Harry so far. No, not Ryan, Greg and Harry so far. So really looking forward to it.
Nice one, man. Right, so Kev Wilson's question was this week: if you could make one realistic signing from each Premiership club, except Hearts, who would they be? And we have decided to take that question and run with it a wee bit, because what me and you are going to do over the next half an hour, and I say half an hour, that's a pie in the sky sort of estimate. It could be anything from 15 minutes to an hour and a half. We
Yeah, I'll
are
be
going to
changing my team
hopefully
in
no, because
before
I'm
time.
starting. We are going to run through a wee bit of a draft of the other teams in the league, and in the spirit of Kev's question, excluding Hearts and picking one Hibs player, which will give us an 11 players, and we will create an 11 out of that. So we'll be doing this in very much a draft style. I'm not going to run through what a draft is. I'm sure many of you who listen already know exactly what that is. But we'll take it in turns to select a player from each club. We're only allowed clearly one player from each club, and we've got to kind of come up with some sort of sensible formation out of
No
it, a 4-4-2
duplicates.
or a 4-3-3. None of these 3-4-1-2s or anything, and then we try to sneak any
They Sean
Christmas
Maloney
trees.
stuff.
Then we try to sneak any Christmas trees into the team. Ewan has very kindly agreed to let me go first, so I am going to take the first pick in the draft, and clearly we're going to do it based on the strongest players. So I am going to take who I believe at this moment in time is the strongest and most impactful player in the league, and that is Celtic's Real Hatate in centre midfield. I think just purely based on not even numbers, just his overall impact in games. I think we're probably going to see it, unfortunately, on Saturday, just how impactful a player he is. He has everything I think you need as a centre midfielder in the Scottish game. He's got the athleticism, he's got the tenacity, he can pass the ball. He is, without wanting to wax lyrical too much about a player that we're playing on Saturday, I think he is the best, certainly midfielder, possibly the best player in the league at the moment. Nah, he's the best player. I'm just
Yep.
going to say it. He's the best player in the
Yeah.
league at the moment. Real
Definitely
Attack
not
is
one
mine.
that's realistic for Hibs to sign anyway. Um,
Aye, so no, it answers the spirit of Kev's question, but maybe it doesn't answer who would you actually sign, because I didn't think we're going to get him.
no. That works out well for me, right? Because I'm going down a different route for you, right? There's a lot of teams in here that there's only maybe one player I want, so I want to make sure I get that player.
Okay.
So my first pick is in goals, and it's Shamal George at Livingston. I think he's the best goalkeeper, probably outside of Celtic in the league, and maybe Craig Gordon when he's fit. So I'll take Shamal George to be between the sticks for me. Because also with you taking Hatate, that means I've got free reign over any. I can take a Celtic player last.
Do you know what? I never really thought about a strategy ahead of this, and I just kind of went, I'll just go and pick the best players. And now, see, to think about it, I'm going to be left with someone like fucking Ross Laidlaw or something in goals. Like the
Well,
way
my
things are
thought
going.
process was Celtic 1 to 11. You'd probably pick any of them in any position. I now have free reign to put a Celtic player wherever the fuck I want, except one centre midfield. So, albeit I think you've got the best one. And
Aye,
then
maybe.
we're doing it like a snake way. So then with my second pick, in a similar vein, I'm going to Ross County, and I'm going to take Jan Dander in midfield, who is a player
Solid.
that I think Hibs could sign, and I would quite like us to try and do that in the summer.
A very cultured midfielder,
Yeah, I
from what I've seen.
I was quite surprised when they signed them in the summer. We'd obviously came through at Liverpool and then done all right at Swansea. And I don't know if they never really got going early doors, but I don't know, sort of as County seemed to have had a little upturn, I thought. And I was pretty impressed when we played them in Dingwall. Obviously, he scored, but that's irrelevant, really.
Well, I mean, I'm already a wee bit on the back foot with your two initial picks, because you've taken my goalie and you've taken a midfielder who I had sort of sitting in reserve to take. So, thank you for that. You've already eliminated two of the players. I'm going to go for another one that I think would be everyone's first choice from their club. Then sort of stealing your tactic, if you like, and I'm going to take Duke from Aberdeen. I just think just based on the fact that he's probably been the one shining light in what's been a pretty poor season for them this season. There was a couple of others I considered, maybe looked at as much as it would pay me to do Ross McCrory potentially as an option. But I think Duke makes the most sense. Again, similar to Hatate in that his athleticism is perhaps like the most notable thing in his game. But I think he has got a little bit of quality. He is a diving bastard though.
I think he's a winger, striker.
I'm going to play him. I'm going to play him just off my front man. I'm going to play him just off my front man in this 4-4-2. So he's going to be my sort of second striker, if you like. I think that's where he can have the most impact.
Decent. Who's your next pick?
Oh, you can go back to you. No,
you want to do that now? We're going one for one, right?
Just go for 1 for 1.
Right, no worries. I'll go to. Oh, I'm gonna really upset you. You're gonna be so angry with me because I don't even rate him. I'm going to St Johnstone, and I'm going to take Melker Hallberg.
Oh God! God. You've just done that to take the cunt.
You know what it was, right? I was looking at St Johnstone's team, and I'm like, I'm not taking Stevie May. That's not happening, and I'm not taking Nicky Clark. And I'm like, it's got to be Hallberg.
I'm away on to St Johnstone's Wikipedia pages now because I hadn't even considered Hallberg being taken. I just thought I would get a free run at him. So I'm away on St Johnstone's Wikipedia page to see who I'm taking.
I feel like I understood the assignment more than you did, even though
I did. I feel like you did. I feel like I'm going to look at this list and I'm going to all of a sudden be gutted that Liam Craig's retired.
I think like what Hallberg for me, absolutely not a realistic signing for Hibs. That the bridges are burnt there, but I don't think we've seen the best of him at St Johnstone. He's had what he never had at Hibs, a run of games, right? He's played very consistently for them. I think he's even captained them on quite a few occasions as well. And I think in their recent win at Dundee United, he was gallivanting down the right wing, put a ball right onto Stevie May's feet for fucking what's his name, the Dundee United goalkeeper to dive over.
Birighitti.
Aye, is that
some boy?
Can you imagine he's going to make anyone's team? No, did you notice how he made a rather speedy recovery from his really devastating injury after that tackle in that game that meant he missed an entire one game? That's oh dear. Don't know how long the average redneck lasts, but
very cute, some boy. I love that Dundee United. See, we're just talking about like other clubs in the league. I love that Dundee United signed that Carl Johan Eriksson boy that played against us at Tannadice because they already had concerns about Birighitti, so they signed him and then they played him and realised he's actually worse than the guy they already had.
I think they loaned him out in January as well, so they had to sign another goal. I don't know if that Newman's. I don't know if he signed him or if he's a youngster or what, but he had that howler at fucking Ross County.
I got the impression that he'd like maybe come through the system at Dundee United, that Jack Newman. But I like see for me, like if you've got that much of an issue with your goalies, like do you maybe want to look at the goalkeeping coach position as well? Because that Birighitti obviously had a bit of pedigree.
I can't believe that Dundee United went through the January window and never signed a goalkeeper. Like he was so obviously out his depth. Although he did have a good game at Easter Road, but like so obviously out his depth. He cost them so many goals this season. But hey, like the Terrace done top 12 goalkeepers and he never even got in the list.
The second choice goalie. Right. My third pick, I'm going to go to St Mirren.
Okay.
I think you can. I'm going to take Keanu Bacchus from St Mirren. If Greg was here, he'd clearly be all over Mark O'Hara like a rash. But I think Bacchus is the standout midfielder at the club.
I'm already worried now because if our hypothetical teams, you've got Hatate and Bacchus up against Danda and Hallberg. There's definitely ways to do it, but I've went rather weak in the middle of the park. But
what I wanted was a spine. I've not started on the sort of defensive element of the spine yet, but based on the two centre halves that I'm now having to choose, I'm not really too enamoured with the spine of my team right now in the defensive end. I think Bacchus will probably leave St Mirren in the summer. I haven't seen a lot of him really since the World Cup break, but the games I did see of him before the World Cup, I thought he was maybe
Think he's out
maybe
with
one of the
Hibs
best centre mids out.
already?
Well, St Mirren fans certainly seem to think that he was when we done our January transfer window wish list. I don't know if he's out of our range. I don't know if a St Mirren player will ever be out of our range, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to St Mirren, but unless he's got better offers, like say from the English Championship, I think he is still gettable, and we should still talk about him.
Yeah.
He's a player I'd like to, based on what I saw earlier in the season, like to see us go for because he's realistic. But he also is not one of those like lateral midfielders. He will actually make forward runs, and that's something that unless we've got a fit Kyle McGuinness, which we don't have a huge amount of the time, then we don't have a huge number of players that do that in midfield for us.
I think, like, for me, we got a lot of criticism in January when we even rudely mentioned his name. I can't think of many players that have left Scotland from out with the traditional big five, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Dundee United about a decade ago, that have went down straight to the Championship in England or even higher. Like, where I think Bacchus is destined for is probably top end, like Championship football, but I don't see that many teams taking him from St Mirren. Like even Erdogan, where did he go? Lincoln. Like, whereas if the player takes the step and then goes again, like Stevie Malin went for St Mirren in the Championship, I went to Barnsley when they were in League One, I think, and it didn't really work out for him. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if Bacchus stays in Scotland this summer, and hopefully it's at Hibs and not maybe an Aberdeen or a Hearts. Right, how am I going to address this midfield imbalance? I am going to go to Celtic. I'm going to go to Celtic and take Callum McGregor, which wasn't actually someone that I even thought about from Celtic. And I'm not too happy with taking him, but I think I needed that in the middle of the park, I do.
Fair enough.
Good player. Really, real, massively underrated, I think, still, to be honest. Really, really good player.
Criminally underrated, to the point where, like, I find that whole debate about would you be able to play for a top six club down in England quite tedious, because I look at him and I think, why is the top six in England always held up as the place that every single person wants to go and play their football? He clearly is quite happy doing what he's doing, and I think is a very, very able footballer who, with his IQ, could slot into any team. I just said IQ, fuck's sake.
There was a period of time where I think everyone expected him not to play for Scotland. And then I think from the Euros onwards, he's proved his worth in the middle of the park. And for me,
he was our best player at Euros.
Like, I think he is definitely maybe behind John McGinn, the first name on the team sheet for Scotland.
Agree.
Yeah, that's from very good player. Like, he absolutely killed Hibs in the game at December. We just couldn't get near him. And I think it is, if you can get on top of Celtic's midfield, you can stop them playing. But McGregor and Hatate are very good. So trying to do that is not so easy, but yeah.
Totally. Right, back to me then.
Yep.
I'm sticking with the strategy of yours that I've borrowed and taking the only player from any club that you want, and I'm taking Kilmarnock's Danny Armstrong. I do not.
I've got a sneaky one in there, by the way, for Kelly.
Do not rate if it's Kyle Lafferty. Oh no, Kyle Lafferty's not there anymore. I do not rate anyone at Kilmarnock, to be honest. I've seen them a lot this season. I've got a pal from work who supports Kelly. He continually tells me about how terrible they've been in virtually every game this season. Even the games where they pick up points, I don't think they're playing particularly well. So I think he's the one shining light. If I'm not mistaken, he scored the penalty against us in November, the last game for the World Cup break.
Yeah, out of contract this summer. Do think he's
he?
Yeah, definitely someone I think I should look at.
He was at I think he was at Rafe or something for quite a while. I don't think he's really. He's not like a youngster. I think he's maybe 25, 26 years old, and he has kind of not really done a huge amount up until this point at Kelly, but he's been good for them. Again, again, high energy, another high energy player, midfielder. So my midfield's going to be fully running to run
I
all
think
over Hallberg.
I'm sure I heard someone say, again, it might be on the terrace, maybe. I can't remember the guy, the Kelly fan that's on that. I think he said he's actually been better for them in the Premiership than he ever was in the Championship.
All right.
Like when they were coming up, they were a bit like, yeah. And then this
Maybe
year,
a bit more space, eh?
but the one thing that really annoys me with him, he always wears a bandage on his hand.
I
That
know.
fucks me off. Like I don't know, like of all the things in the world, like the same way that Kevin Dabrowski warming up in his kit pissed me off. That pisses me off as well.
Kelly are that bad though that I was like, I would take literally anybody, just as long as they were semi decent to get into this team.
Well,
Like any flaws, I'll take them.
do you know, I'm going to stick with Kelly. In fact, no,
All right.
no, I'm not.
Nah, that's not smart.
Because I'm not ultimately not taking Kyogo as my striker, which is where I thought I was going to go. I'm taking my Hibs pick and I'm going to take Kevin Nisbet.
Nice.
That'll do for me. Don't think we need any further conversation on him. Could be.
What do you think about him not being in the Scotland squad?
Oh, we've had a conversation on this already. I don't get it. And to the same point, I don't get Shankland not being in the squad either. I don't know. Maybe it's fitness, but then I don't think that explains the Shankland one. I don't think he's got any injuries.
He didn't play at the weekend for Hearts.
Did he not? Right, okay, so maybe he does have a knock, but I don't get it, Liam. I don't. For me, I would always be looking at players that are scoring up here over players that are scoring a handful of goals down south. I know that you've got quite a good opinion of Jacob Brown, but maybe that's me being a bit obnoxious, having not seen him all that much, whereas obviously having the privilege of watching Kevin Nisbet 50 odd times now for Hibs, but there's too many midfielders in the squad. Far too many midfielders. I don't understand. I think Ryan Christie, Stuart Armstrong are in there because of what they've done in the past and the clubs they're at, but albeit Christie was good against Liverpool at the weekend, he's hardly playing for Bournemouth. I think you can get away with not potentially even dropping one of the two because they do the same job ultimately. And they're both behind John McGinn because the way that Scotland are playing, it's especially against Spain, it's going to be a striker off of Adams, a midfielder off Adams. You know, maybe against Cyprus it'll be I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't understand why Nisbet and Shankland, but especially Nisbet aren't in. I don't get it. When Clark's picked him before and took him to the Euros.
I know. And it's that whole like club mentality that he's trying to create by having lots of the same players in every squad and trying to create that togetherness.
Yeah.
Those two players obviously have been in and around the squads
what do you make
bit, particularly Nisbet.
You're definitely go to the Scotland games, and
I find it hard because like I'm not really invested in Jacob Brown or any of the others that have really been called up as a striker. But I think you look at guys like Lyndon Dykes, his track record, I think gets him into the squad alone. Regardless of regardless of how he's been playing for QPR now.
Did he not?
I know,
but recovering from pneumonia.
But even I think even a 70% fit Lyndon Dykes and what he gives you in terms of his presence probably gets him in the squad ahead of pretty much anybody else that's at our disposal. I saw a lot of outrage about people like Hayden Hackney, who I didn't even know who he was until literally about a month ago.
I think he's still in the 21s though. Like
he is, and Ben Doak not getting a call up. It's like, come on, the boy's 17 and he's played 2 first-team games for Liverpool. I think people just need to chill out a wee bit.
He is a good player. I think that the Ben Doak one probably has more because we don't have a winger.
But we don't play with a winger.
I seen a Blackburn fan saying that was it Dominic Hyam? He was at Coventry. Signed him in the summer, and I think he might even be captain in them. And I think he's been very good for them. But he's 27, so maybe the ship sailed. But again, like could he be in there over Grant Hanley? I don't know. I think maybe the squad would have been different if we didn't have Spain in this.
I think the thing is as well with a guy like about diving too much on the Scotland squad. With a guy like Hanley he's been in the squads for such a long period of time, and I know that he perhaps didn't do very well under Strachan, but under Clark he hasn't really let us down that often. And to take him out would be harsh. We saw how long it took Porteous to get in the squad. Do you know what I mean? And then establish himself.
when I was thinking about Hamlet, it was more thinking about just looking at other players. But then I remembered that it's Spain on the second game.
Aye,
You're going with the most experienced bunch there.
aye,
Ultimately,
totally. Fucking damage limitation job.
that's it, mate.
Right. I'm going, I think it's me next, isn't it?
It is, mate, yeah.
I'm going to another team we've not been to yet, Dundee United, and
Yeah.
I am taking Aziz Behic, Australian left back. He was good at the World Cup, I
Yeah.
think, for Australia. I don't think he's been brilliant for Dundee United, but he's been decent. I think we are now getting to that point in the list where we're going to be picking some players who we maybe don't love, but we're picking them because we're trying to put an 11 together. I think Aziz Behic scored again. Another player that scored against us in the
Yeah.
game at Tannadice. I thought he was actually really good that night. I was more kind of focused on our performance in the dreadful refereeing, but I thought he was really good. And again, I keep saying it, I've said it with every player so far. I'm all about the athleticism, and you can get them down that left hand side all day long. So Aziz Behic is my
Yeah,
left back.
or right back? Left back.
Left back, aye.
Right. Left back. Cool. I thought he was a right back, I'm not lying. Who am I going to take next? So what have I got? I've got a striker, my midfield's done, and I've got a goalkeeper. Right. I will take. I'm not taking James Tavernier if my life depends on it. I just refuse.
Nah.
Like
Nah,
it's
neither am
not
I.
happening.
Neither am I.
So I will take. Right, I'm going to take my Kelly one. In fact, no, I'll go to Motherwell and I'll take Max Johnson at right back.
Fuck. I had him and all. He was literally the only Motherwell player I wanted. I should have taken him
And
earlier.
that is absolutely based off of fucking speculation and all of that, but he looks like he's got the little bits of the Josh Doigs about him. Definitely going. You'd love to see him at Hibs, but far and away out of Hibs price range. I think he's out of contract in the summer, and Serie A clubs are sniffing about already. So hopefully he's the next. Hopefully he's the next Scotland player that goes over to Serie A or abroad and does well and kicks on.
Fuck's sake. That's all I can say to that. Because the other players that I wanted now I can't fucking take. I could just go for a straight swap here, couldn't I? And just take fucking Stephen O'Donnell, but I'm not doing it. Right. I'm taking one now that I don't. Again, it's not a player I love, but out of pettiness, I just didn't really want to choose one of their players. And this guy's not been around long enough for me to hate him yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Nicholas Raskin from Rangers, playing my midfield, probably on the left hand side. I think he's a right footer. He probably plays a bit more centrally normally.
Is this an away European game? Is it?
I'm going to have him tucking in when we've lost possession.
Okay, good pick. Yeah.
Like I say, I didn't like if I wasn't so petty, I'd probably go for Tavernier, but I'm not taking him. So I'm picking one of them that I didn't hate. Yeah, it's Raskin.
It was between him and McGregor for me. Yeah, good pick. I've said it on the main show. If you like, I thought Rangers midfield went really well at Easter Road. Really.
All three of them are good.
Yeah.
All three of them are good. It pains me to say.
I'd be surprised if they didn't sign Ryan Jack on a new deal because he's a very good player as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Raskin looks frustratingly no a dud. No, like that fullback that they signed for, was it Turkey they signed?
Ridvan Yilmaz. He's never going to be heard of again, is he?
Right, where am I going to go now? Fuck. What do I need? 2 centre backs, my right back, and 2 wingers. Right, where are we going? I'll take Luke Chambers from Kilmarnock. He's on loan from Liverpool as my left back. I thought, and this is based purely on the fact that I actually thought he was really good at Easter Road. I thought he had a good game. Me and Graham that I sit with at Easter Road, we were speaking about him. I thought when they changed to 3-5-2 in the second half, and I thought he gave us a lot of problems down the left side. And then when I got home, searched who he was, seen he was on loan for Liverpool, and thought, well, I was impressed. And if he continues to do well, maybe Hibs could target that as an area that we don't have players right now, really. We've got Chabraya that like Greg said last on the main show, and you're the same. It's just a shame the way it seems to have worked out. And then we've got Lewis Stevenson, so could be a realistic one. I've based that on 1 90-minute showing where his team ultimately got beat. So
yeah.
David
Right.
Neil would be happy that we've not taken Lewis Mayo with either Kelly picks.
I think we've all the clubs have had a player picked from them, if I'm not wrong. They have. So I think we're now all picking sort of players that are maybe second choices for each of their clubs.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure.
No, because I've had 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh no, we have picks, but I'm looking at the teams that are available. I'd say you took my Aberdeen pick.
Aye.
You probably took my Dundee United pick because I had a player ahead of him, but I filled their positions elsewhere. But
right.
Rangers and St Mirren, I'm comfortable with.
Right, okay. My next pick then is I need to just put a centre back in there. And look, I don't love it, but it's what I'm left with. So I am taking Ross County's Alex Iacovitti, who I think has played centre back. He's played a bit of left back. It was between him and Jack Baldwin. I've had to rejig things a wee bit, and that's who I'm going with. So I'm going with Alex Iacovitti, big, strong, physical centre half.
Yeah,
prone to the odd wee error, perhaps, but he's solid enough.
Going to feast, mate. We're going to feast on him.
We'll see.
Definitely don't want Hibs to sign him in the summer.
No, Kev. Don't take that as I want Hibs to sign him, please.
Right, I'm going to go to... Oh, shite. Aberdeen's going to cause me a real problem.
Aye, they are.
Because I've picked other players and I didn't actually even have to. I'm regretting the Motherwell one. I'm regretting taking Johnston. Do you still need to take Motherwell?
Aye.
It's fine, you can't fit on in. I was thinking about McKinstry. Who's on Leeds, and I sort of wish I'd taken him. Right, I'm going to take... I think he's St Mirren's best centre-back and he doesn't play. I'm going to take Joe Shaughnessy.
Oof, that's a good shout, actually. Quite like that. I'd already decided on Bacchus, so I didn't want anyone else, but Shaughnessy's a good shout.
I think I said in January that I would have been all right with Hibs going to try and get him because he wasn't playing, and I would stick with that, by the way. I think he would be an absolutely fine signing to come in for a year potentially in the summer and play his part. I think he is St Mirren's best centre-back. I think he's better than Charles Dunn, so I'm surprised he's not getting a game.
Who did they play, Dunn and Gallagher?
Yeah.
They play too.
Well,
Richard Tate at fullback.
Well, Gallagher's been in and out. Shaughnessy's been in and out. But when we went there, it was Gallagher and it was a flat four, I think. Fraser.
The Scott fucking Tans are still got him.
Yes, mate. Like, I think they can play a free sometimes with Fraser and then the other two that you meant, Dunn and...
Aye.
But Shaughnessy seems, since Robinson went in, seems to be out the window, which is a surprise for me.
Interesting. Thought he'd be all over a player like that. Right. Joe Shaughnessy, solid. Right, I'm going just to get my next centre back in now, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't love it. I would have taken Max Johnston as my first pick, but my Motherwell got player taken, so I've had to rejig things a wee bit. I think he's been out injured for a wee while, and he's only just coming back, and that is Motherwell's Beavis Mugabe. Probably best known for his sending off against us last season. Wholly justified sending off, by the way. Not that we took over Old
Alex Goggett's losing them at the second.
Aye, that's true, that and all. So, I mean, I've got two big laddies, I think it's fair to say, playing centre half, and Iacovitti and Mugabe. I'm going to be all right with any aerial bombardments, but if you keep it on the deck, I might be in a bit of trouble.
Mate, I've had a howler here.
Have you? Aye.
Mate, I've had an absolute howler. I need a centre back and two wingers for fucking Aberdeen, Dundee United, and Rangers.
Johnny Hayes, step forward.
So I'm like, do I take Ryan Kent and then fucking plug in something like, or do I go for like a Connor Gold?
Just take Johnny Hayes, mate. He's still there. He's still available. Just take him.
Aberdeen,
it's about the here and now. It's not about 3 years' time. It's who's
Aberdeen,
the best player.
Dundee United, and who's the other one? Aberdeen, Dundee United, and Rangers, right?
Aye.
Who do Aberdeen centre backs that they signed on loan in January seem to be doing all right, but they proclaim to know anything about them. So I'm going to take Oh, Liam, what have I done?
You're making bad radio. Come on, make
I'll
a pick.
take fucking Ross McCrory and put him at centre half.
Right, sound. Ross McCrory. I was going to take
Played
him,
centre
but
back, I think, hasn't he? He's played centre back.
he's played right back probably more, but I think he does play centre back now and again.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to complete my back four. I'm going to take Livingston, Nicky Devlin. The main reason being that the player that does him the most harm might well be in my team as we work through it even later on. Nicky Devlin, very, very solid right back at this level. Unspectacular, but solid. Grafter.
Oh, I know what you're taking. I'm just
I'm,
thinking about
I'm
what you've got left.
I'm very pleased to have him in my team.
I was
Because
surprised at why
let's be
you were
honest, I
so
needed
happy with Nisbet. I was right, fair.
neither the defender that can defend on this back four, so that's why I've gone for Nicky Devlin.
Another player, by the way, that's probably fine at this level, but I don't think I should be looking at him. But fine, fine. Probably better than Lewis Miller. I'll give him that. Right. I'll take Ryan Kent. Aye.
You didn't even want to take him, eh?
Nah, I didn't, but I could. There was not an Aberdeen winger I was taking, so aye, Ryan Kent.
Yeah, fair. Right, I'm going to take my goalie. My goalie is none other than St Johnstone's Remy Matthews. Was not a player who featured high on my list of wants. I'm going to be just really honest. I think I've seen Remy Matthews play maybe 3 or 4 times tops, and he hasn't made a mistake in any of those games. He hasn't looked spectacular in any of those
He was
games.
the only other player for me at St Johnstone that was an option, other than Halberg, but not a very
Aye.
good
Aye.
option.
I mean, he's played at some half decent clubs. He does have a journeyman career though. He started off at Norwich City, Burton Albion, Doncaster Rovers, Hamilton Accies, Plymouth Argyle, Bolton
Played for
Wanderers,
Hamilton,
Sunderland. 17 times in the Premiership apparently. Don't remember him. Crystal Palace. For some reason, he's down last season is playing for Crystal Palace under 21s when he is in fact 29. And then Johnston this season. So he's had a few clubs, it's fair to say, Matthews. Maybe a wee bit of a journeyman, but look, I had to fill a position and I wasn't taking fucking Elliot Parish, that's for sure. So Matthews it is.
Mate, I've had a fucking blinder here. I fixed it.
Right, let's hear it.
I'm moving Jan Danda to play off the left-hand side. And I'm taking Dylan Levitt in the middle of the park.
Oh, fuck's sake. I wanted to get Levitt, but there's just no way I could fit him in with all the shite I had.
I'm taking Levitt to move into the middle of the park, and I'll play Danda off the left.
You better hope it's a rejuvenated Dylan Levitt because he's been absolutely phony this season.
Well, he scored, didn't he? He scored against St Johnstone, I think.
Aye.
With your final pick, Liam.
So I mean, this is one I had to think really long and hard about. Nah, didn't I? My final pick here is none other than Mr. Eli Todi Euan. Quite simply, the most box office player in the league at the moment. Maybe.
I don't know if you've listened to the episode yet. What did you make of the discussion around him on the main show this week? Whether he should or shouldn't play at Celtic Park?
He needs to play at Celtic Park. He is the ball over the top. He is our out ball. I don't really care that he doesn't give you as much in the defensive. Well, I do care, but I think you just have to sacrifice that he doesn't give you as much in the defensive sense as some other players. I would like to see him play up in a 2 at Celtic Park. I think we will need to do that. And he just simply has to play at the moment. He's been, if you look at it over the last month and a half, 2 months, he's been our best attacking player by some considerable distance. So he has to play.
I agree. Right.
Superb.
I've got a
Run
question.
for your team.
Shamal George, Max Johnson, Joe Shaughnessy, Ross McCrory, Luke Chambers, I can't fucking remember his first name, Cal McGregor, Dylan Levitt, Melker Halberg, Kent Nisbet, Jan Danda.
Brilliant. Right. Mine's are St Johnstone's Rennie Matthews, Livy's Nicky Devlin, Motherwell's Beavis McGabby, Ross County's Alex Yakoviti, Dundee United's Aziz Behic, and then my midfield is Killy's Danny Armstrong, St Mirren Skiani Baku, Celtic's Real Hitati, Rangers Nicholas Raskin. Some midfield that, to be fair, I've put together. The rest of the team's questionable, but the midfield's good. And up top, I've got Ellie Euan of Hibs and Duke of Aberdeen.
Mate, if you just lined that up as a 4-3-3 instead of 4-4-2, just Duke off the left, Armstrong off one side, you're sorted.
I suppose that would have worked out better, but we were doing this on the fly. When you started taking my players, I realised how difficult it was to then form a team out of it, especially forming a team that you actually like.
Right, so
like, I hate that back four with a passion. I'm looking at it and it's making me angry just looking at the players.
Mate, that looks like it could be a Scottish Premiership back four. That's lined up at St Mirren before, is that?
That team, that back four and goalkeeper looks like the sort of team that would come to Easter Road and get beat 6-0.
You think? The back
that back five would get beat 6-0 at Easter Road. Like that's not a better back five than the back five that started against us for Aberdeen.
I'm worried about the midfield three. McGregor, Levitt, and Halber against Raskin, Hitati, and Bacchus. I think you're winning the game there. Like if I can get through your midfield, I'm winning, but I'm not sure. So here, see, just to go back to Kev's actual question, I've quickly circled the players in my team and your team that I think I would like Hibs to realistically sign, because I of course like them to sign Cal McGregor. But on my team, I've circled Shamal George. I think it take too much to get him out of Livy. They did pay a fee for him though, and he has got a long-term contract.
And Livy didn't really pay fees for people either. Big Martin will be wanting some big cash, like.
Chambers, I think if Hibs wanted to, I'm sure we could get him on loan for Liverpool. Joe Shaughnessy, Max Johnson, don't know actually how realistic that is, and Jan Dander. And I've put a double circle around Kevin Nisbet because I really want him to sign a new deal. For your team, I've only taken 3 for your team. Bacchus, Armstrong, and Euan.
Bacchus, Armstrong, and Euan. I wouldn't want any of that. Maybe as is BH if it was I think we will back in the summer realistically. Maybe I think he's quite pally with Martin Boyle as well. Know that would necessarily have a huge amount of influence, but I think he'd maybe be all right in a short term signing. I think he's like 31, 32, so getting on for a fullback. Obviously I love Duke, but we're not going to sign Duke. And the rest of them, nah.
You mean you don't want
Armstrong and Bacchus?
Alex Yakoviti is our centre back like next season.
Nah, mate. Like I'll allow another Hibs podcast to suggest him as a potential signing in the summer. I'm not having Alex Yakoviti at Hibs. Thank you very much. No kick at Arden long. Guy, can I just quickly say some guys that I was going to put in that I couldn't get them in because to make them work in the team. So Kevin Van Veen was potentially an option up front, just based on Motherwell not having a huge amount of talent. Stefan Omionga, as much as people hate that, was potentially an option, but I couldn't find a place for him based on the fact that I wanted your goalie first, and then I was like, the next pick's Nicky Devlin, so I went with Devlin, and the one that G would hate me for. But actually, if I look at it, it's probably a more solid centre back than the two that I've got. It's St Johnstone's Liam Gordon, who I know is proper, the most meat and potatoes style defender you can get in terms of kick it hard and long. I could add Liam Kelly, who would have been better. So you live and learn. That's maybe what I should have done.
I immediately when it came to it, I was like, right, I want decent midfield, but then I got to St Johnstone's team and I was like, fuck. So Graham Shinney I thought was going to be a dead set potentially for Aberdeen, even though Duke is a good player. I thought you could supplement that. I think you could go for anyone at Celtic or Rangers, but
totally. For
me, where they both excel is almost fullback. When you look at the dearth of quality across the league at fullback. And I know we were avoiding Hearts, but we had originally, I think we were going to do a Hearts player. We swapped in at last minute. Hibs. Who were you looking at there? Kingsley.
Probably Xander Clark.
Right, I was looking at Kingsley for left back potentially, or Kyrie centre back.
It was Xander Clark or the Penn Merchant.
Oh dear. I wonder if anyone could come up with a better team than that. But then again, no, they would.
Oh, people
No,
could like.
but then they're not drafting it against someone else. Well,
But imagine all five of us had been on. How shite the fifth person's team or the five teams
could
would
you
be
imagine
because
how
we had
long the
five
podcast
draft
would
picks.
be taking?
The five of us, you'd have fucking Mike Bassett fucking trying to go through his team, fucking destructing it bit by bit.
Would they all
Specky
be
would
shouting at Harry just for picking utter like the most team, just generally fucking annoyed with him by the third pick? Like,
his first pick on the board would be Stevie Bradley, 100%. Like he'd be taking Stevie Bradley at Livy. He'd be all over that.
do you
I'm
think
from Stevie Bradley. No one else wants him.
do you think because we got scudded last week, the Stevie Bradley scoring for Livy slipped under the radar of the folk that want to be outraged by that? It does seem to have done well, to be fair. I mean,
It's coming back. Like that is coming back. That is he is going to score a goal Easter Road, and it's going to be like all hell's going to be.
Is he there permanent or is he on loan now?
Nah, he's. I think pretty sure he's there permanently.
Because I don't think he played against us at Ammanfield, which I was surprised by. I might be wrong. Maybe he was just non-existent, but I didn't think he played.
No, could the wonderful Stevie Bradley can't have been non-existent for that game. Surely not. Surely that did not occur.
So we do a quick Google. Yeah. Does that make bad radio?
I'm to be honest, I'm googling it. Like
you
said it. Nah, he is there permanently. Like
I'm doing Livy 1 for Hibs. Let's see. Did they just not play? Click into the fixture unit. That would help. Lineups. Stevie Bradley. He was not in the start and unused sub.
Right. At this point, if you're still listening to us googling Stevie Bradley's Wikipedia, then you really need to have a word with yourself. But no, thanks for listening. That's our fourth episode up the slope. We just thought we'd do something a wee bit different, a wee bit of fun. Let us know, as always, let us know then that you think we should or want us to cover or think it would be interesting. Or if it's just like this and you think we could put together an episode that would be a wee bit of a car crash, then feel free to just suggest that too, and we'll probably put something out. Let's be honest. Thanks for listening. Take it easy and moan the Hibs.
Cheers, Liam.